What's up YouTube fragrance family, Tommy with Studio Sins here. Welcome to today's video. In the DC universe, one of the most iconic characters ever to appear on the big screen has to be Batman. Everyone loves that nitty-gritty story of that dark detective, Bruce Wayne, how he became an orphan, lost his mother and father, the event that changed his life, turned him into a crime-fighting cape detective, and there are very few as cool of a character as Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, walking across the screen, oozing that enigmatic, dark, mysterious, sexy confidence. The reason that The Dark Knight captures so many people's imaginations, the idea of a millionaire playboy, a hero. He's got an incredibly diagnostic brain, he's very intelligent. It's like taking everything that a guy wants to be to a woman, embodying all those characteristics into a single character. Now I know that's quite an introduction for a video on fragrance, so what about fragrance? Why are we talking about Batman? Well, all those qualities that we talked about today are actually embodied by certain fragrances, and I wanted to feature 10 of these fragrances today that are mysterious, dark, sexy, mineralic. They carry all of these features that are embedded into the DNA or the scent profile. So when we return, we're going to take a look at 10 Dark Knight fragrances. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone. We're talking about fragrances that actually embody the characteristics that make Batman so intriguing, so fascinating, and captures the attention of millions of people. I wanted to kind of pull them all into the same category and take a closer look at them. So we've got 10 Dark Knight fragrances to take a look at. Let's go ahead and jump into our list. So the very first fragrance that I'm going to talk about, in an attempt to kind of tick all the boxes of everything that he thought should be in a fragrance, he literally put everything but the kitchen sink in this one. Well, thankfully though, that didn't muddle the idea of the fragrance. It is No Limits by PHILIPP PLEIN. No Limits seems like a joke of an idea, and when you watch the video that he created, it's a joke of an idea for sure, but the fragrance is no joke. It's got some epic quality darkness to it. You've got bourbon vanilla, dark chocolate, frankincense, black amber. You've got oud, leather. There's just so many things that make this fragrance mysterious and definitely sexy. You can make it a signature scent or a date night scent. Either way, no limits, like the name implies. There's no limit to how you can wear this fragrance. It is, of course, going to be a cold weather fragrance because it is so rich and it's so leather oriented. So if you're going to use it on date nights, you don't want to do it on a summer night. PHILIPP PLEIN's No Limits is definitely a Dark Knight fragrance. Our next Dark Knight scent may not be quite as enigmatic, but it is definitely sexy. It is from PRADA. It is PRADA L'Homme ABSOLU. The reason it made my Dark Knight list, it is enigmatic, it is mysterious, it's very sexy. It takes that PRADA L'Homme DNA, which is generally that soft, soapy, scented iris. It's just as soft as its brother, but it goes a little bit deeper and adds that spicy punch to it. This one features geranium, labdanum, black pepper, cedar, and of course, that enigmatic iris. PRADA L'Homme ABSOLU doesn't get quite as much talk as its brother, but I think it's equally deserving of attention, and it's definitely a Dark Knight fragrance. PRADA L'Homme ABSOLU. Our next Dark Knight scent is one of my favorite go-to scents when I'm trying to reach for something that's going to be mineralic and yet sexy at the same time. That's kind of hard to do. PRADA Carbon does it successfully, but this one is a little bit less crowd-pleasing. It is Bentley for Men Absolute. Now this is the one many people describe smelling like pencil shavings, and granted it does have kind of that overt pencil shavings kind of smell to it, a combination of lead and wood. It's a bit more complex and multi-layered than that. I love the elegant, arid nature of this fragrance balanced against its darker side. It's almost like the epitome of how Bruce Wayne and Batman vie for equal attention, and each of them are powerful personas. Same thing in Bentley for Men Absolute. There are different sides. There's a light and dark side. Each of them give you equal time to appreciate these facets. So this one has amber, oud, moss, frankincense. It's got a nice papyrus in there. It's got pink pepper, a little bit of sandalwood as well. Overall, a fantastic fragrance for men, and for the price, it's amazingly inexpensive. One of those that smells more expensive than what it is. Bentley for Men Absolute. Sometimes when the character Batman is fighting crime, he feels like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. But it's okay when you have a fragrance like CHOPARD Black Incense Malaki. You can carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you can do it in an extremely poignant, sexy, multi-layered way, in a very densely incense kind of way. CHOPARD Oud Malaki is a masculine, dark, incense-hearted fragrance. It's not for the average or the faint of heart. It's built for seduction. It's built for endurance. Black Incense Malaki has an above-average projection and above-average longevity. This is what I would term a winter banger. And the great thing about Black Incense Malaki, you can actually layer all of the fragrances that we're talking about right along with it. You spray this one on first, then you spray your fragrance of choice, the ones that we're talking about. Just like the name implies, you've got frankincense, oud, leather, several other spices that just add to this wonderful, very dry, elegant nature, which is Black Incense Malaki. The night may be always curiously stealthy, but it's not always black, nor is its logic always black and white. Sometimes it's silver, as is proven by this MIYAKE masterpiece, NUIT NOIR ARGENT. I can't get enough of this incense-rich scent. It is spicy, it is arid, it's aromatic, it's balsamic. It opens with grapefruit, nutmeg, pink, and black peppers. It shortly makes way for the stately yet determined note of leather, saffron, myrrh, and other resins. Not really a date night fragrance, but it is sexy, but more on the serious side. It's more of an office-friendly fragrance, but only if you want an immediate promotion all the way to the top. MIYAKE's NUIT NOIR ARGENT. Continuing to ride that midnight express of those heroic yet evocative fragrances that attract women, yet simultaneously confuse them as to whether they're rooting for the hero or the villain, because they're both equally sexy in their own way. This fragrance definitely blurs the line between the two. It is PRADA Amber Pour Homme Intense, with the cap at the kind of canted to the right of the top of the bottle there. PRADA knows that to be the good guy, you sometimes gotta be a little bad. With Amber Pour Homme Intense, this softly lit candle in the form of its previous release becomes a torch, lighting the corners of the antechambers of your heroine's heart with the intensity of myrrh, patchouli, amber, vanilla. This is a seductive date night scent that's curiously as comforting as it is sexy, and as equally mysterious, lasting a bit longer, projecting a bit more than Amber Pour Homme, PRADA Amber Pour Homme Intense. Our next dark night fragrance is simple yet stolidly resolute. It is from ZADIG and Voltaire. It is Just Rock. These bottles say it all. It's like you took a rock and you broke it in half, and you see the strata of shale and the various veins that's running throughout the rock itself, just like fragrant notes that run through the DNA of the fragrance. Just Rock Pour Louis is the emboldened boulder that's chasing Indiana Jones right out of the cave. It's serious yet playful. It's omitting an introduction in lieu of its darker mineralic nature. Straight to that sweet opening of tonka bean into the refined yet creamy nature of vanilla, frankincense, patchouli, some other spices that just buoy the rest of them. This fragrance doesn't garner a lot of attention, but I think it deserves more attention than it gets. ZADIG and Voltaire's Just Rock Pour Louis. Our next dark night fragrance wears its sunglasses at night, and it's related to Just Rock Pour Louis. It is a ZADIG and Voltaire fragrance as well. One of my absolute favorites from them, if not my favorite. This is Him. This one is a masterful blend of sandalwood and vanilla. Primarily, those are the two notes that are getting equal attention in the DNA. But it didn't omit that introduction. Heading up that PR mission statement, the duo of grapefruit and pink pepper, just a grapefruit juicy opening that immediately sends you into its sweet, creamy, yet darkly refined heart. There's definitely a reason there's an exclamation point in the name of the fragrance. This is Him by ZADIG and Voltaire. Challenging that statement that in life there are no absolutes, our next dark night scent is JOOP Homme Absolute. Not only is the presentation striking in this fragrance, the fragrance itself is an incredibly striking scent. It starts out very soft, very earthy, very light, but then it builds over time, and the dry down is really masterful in this blend. JOOP Homme Absolute definitely brings home the goods, but it's more spicy, floral combination of all of these fragrances. Got a little bit more floral. It's got black pepper, ylang ylang. It's got a trusty trio of vetiver, tonka bean, and frankincense. Again, this isn't the most powerful fragrance that you'll ever encounter, but there is a quiet beauty to the darkness in this abyss. And instead of staring back at you, it's painting an olfactive picture. JOOP Homme Absolute. The last dark night fragrance that we're going to consider today has its own kind of personality, we'll say. You have to actually be the same kind of personality if you're going to kind of carry this off. this fragrance will actually end up wearing you instead of you wearing it. It is a Jean VARVATOS fragrance. It is Dark Rebel Rider. This is one of the very few fragrances that comes with its own leather jacket. It is that confident. This opens up with some saffron, it's got some aldehydes, it's got some lemon. This fragrance has a tremendous amount of notes in it. Similar to Dark Rebel, which is unfortunately discontinued, Dark Rebel Rider goes a little bit deeper, whereas Dark Rebel stopped at a halfway point. This one goes all the way down. Russian leather, it's got cacao absolute, vanilla, atlas cedar, some other woody notes there. You've got Somalian frankincense, Sumatran benzoin, toluene, Florentine iris, osmanthus absolute, black violet. I mean, how many dark night references do you need in a single fragrance? Perhaps the most dark night fragrance of this list is Jean VARVATOS Dark Rebel Rider. And let me just tell you again, you've got to have, similar to No Limits, you've got to have that love of leather, all things incense. Very, very projecting fragrance. This fragrance is another one of those winter beasts. You can definitely count on Dark Rebel Rider by Jean VARVATOS. Well guys, that's it for these 10 Dark Knight fragrances. If you're a fan of Batman, Bruce Wayne, or if you're not, it's not really what this list was about, but really it's just about fragrances that have that same evocative, provocateur attitude, that mystery, that enigmatic. That's what these all carry in ACES. So if you want to try any one of these out, I do have them listed below so that you can check them out and even purchase them if you wish. If you feel like there are other fragrances out there that I didn't include in this list that have those same qualities, please let us know what those are. Always like to know what your list might look like too. Thanks so much though for stopping by and checking out today's video list, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with StudioSense, and I'll see you tomorrow.